Hello. Hi, everyone. Let me know in the chat once you've arrived. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. Oh, I'm bang on time as well. I actually thought I was going to be a bit late because I had another call, but we seem to be okay. You can let me know in the chat if you are here and if you can hear me. Hi, guys. I can see the little numbers popping up. Can you let me know in the chat that you're here? Sometimes it's so weird when you join a live because you feel like you're talking to yourself. Like I need to be on like a video call or something. But if you're here, let me know in the chat so I can see ya. Also, that's what I'm going to be using to get all your questions and stuff. So I hope you guys are well. Also, let me know, like, my favorite thing to ask people is where they're dialing in from. It's like, where are you joining me from? Let me know that as well. I'm going to wait for a few people to join before I start pestering you guys for questions. If you've not joined me on a live before, because I've not done it that many times actually on my YouTube channel, I think I've probably only done it twice. But they're just chill, informal. It's the evening here, so I'm tired, so bear with me. But they're just chill, they're informal, and they're just an opportunity for you guys to ask me questions, should you have any. And I'm just going to help you out. But obviously, keep in mind that, like, as much as I want to help you with the questions, obviously, I'm doing it without looking at your channels or knowing the in depth of your journey. So keep that in mind when you ask me your super specific questions, but I will do my best to help you out. And then we can get started. Also, I'm filming using my Osmo today, which feels really strange to not use my normal like web camera. I'm going to post on my stories as well so people don't miss it. I got quite a few people asking when I was going to do my next live, and I feel like I didn't give you guys enough notice. So let me share on my stories. Sorry, I've got a song in my head and I have to forget, like I forget that you guys can hear me and I can't just cut that bit out. You can like hear me humming through the mic. Okay. Okay, here we go. Share button, Instagram. Okay. And then I'll put my phone down because it's not fun for you guys just to watch my phone. This is wild. Like, usually I feel like I don't have enough time to get through everyone's questions, but now I feel like I'm going to have more than enough time to get through anyone's questions. By the way, if you're wondering how I'm streaming this, I'm streaming it through Riverside. You guys will know that I work with Riverside all the time, but you might not know that they actually have the capability to stream as well as like so many other things, like webinars and stuff like that as well. So I'm actually using Riverside and just streaming directly in Riverside. And that's why I was able to connect my Osmo and my mic like super easily. So if live streaming is going to be part of your strategy in the future, that's something that you might want to consider, because also everything's automatically saved. So everything that I'm filming right now will be saved in my Riverside studio, and I'll be able to jump in, edit it, repurpose it, do whatever I want. It's one of the key advantages of using it. So That's why I'm going to be using it moving forward. Okay, I'm going to run through some questions that people have just asked me in my DMs to get me started. Let's start. I'm gonna have to get my phone up. I promise you, I'm not just texting. I'm just gonna go through my DMs and answer like the most commonly asked questions. Okay, a couple of questions that I got asked the other day was about trends for 2026. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I tend to do like trend reports on my Instagram recently, and I have done a fair few like 2026, 2025 trend prediction videos before as well. I literally just got finished scheduling the 2026 trend reports video, so that's going to go live tomorrow. But there are quite a few like core trends that I've seen pop out recently that I think are going to really shape social media next year. One of the biggest ones that I've noticed is to do with basically the higher quality level of content being shared online. And whenever I have this conversation, people often don't want to hear it because it sounds like I'm saying we've all got to start producing like movie level content. It's not necessarily that, it's just that if your content doesn't either tell a really good story or slash and it's really well produced, then it probably won't perform as well as we would like it to. There was a few years ago, mainly like 2021, 2022, when TikTok was on the rise and like a lot of raw kind of not authentic, it all should be authentic, but really raw, unpolished content was on the rise. And that was really gaining popularity. And that started to impact platforms like Instagram, where people were kind of doing the reverse of what they've previously done in terms of heavily aesthetic content, going the other way and actually going for the more raw content. And now, whilst I don't think we're going to the aesthetic way, what we are doing is putting more effort into how things are filmed and also what the story is that we're telling. So if you still want to share like the kind of raw, authentic content, if you don't know what I mean by that, it's like, you know, when you're on TikTok and you see someone filming themselves like in bed, just like this. And it's like no good lighting. I'll look at you over there from now on, actually. That's where my camera is. There's like no good lighting and it feels very rough and ready. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's not that that content won't do well anymore. It's more that that content will have to tell a story, otherwise it won't. So you either have a great story or you have a great story and great production value. It's kind of rare to see success without both nowadays, which, as I said, I know can really, really annoy people. I'm just going to check that everything's okay from a tech perspective before I continue. It's actually really useful as well because this, when you go live on Riverside, it will like minimize your screen, which makes it so much easier for you to do other things and like multitask and stuff. I'm only going to stay on this for half an hour, by the way. So if you've got any questions for me, half an hour is the amount of time that you have to go ahead and ask them. So yeah, that's like one of the biggest trends I've seen. And also one of the main reasons why I think that trend has come about is because there's been a huge shift in the industry where a lot of production houses and traditional broadcasters are looking to creators to figure out how to make content that's like social first, that people really, really love. So because that's happening in the background, it also means that the quality of content that creators are producing is starting to level that of like a TV program, because people are watching so much content on TV now, and like Instagram's even working on an app for TV, TikTok's working on an app for TV, so that's only going to increase in terms of that of a trend. So if you imagine your audience watching you, like watching your content, but watching your content on the big screen, you can probably imagine that they're going to have like higher demands or higher expectations for what that content will look like. And that's kind of what I'm referring to in terms of that being a really big trend. Okay, let me get another question from the DMs. Oh, battery's low. Okay. Okay, I'm smiling to myself because I'm sure I answered this last time and I get asked it every single time. It's one of the most commonly asked questions. I've been asked a question around whether to basically start a new Instagram channel or to try and revive a dead one. This question comes back every single year since I've started my journey. Like literally for 5 years, people will ask me this question. And I get why people ask the question. With Instagram in particular, it's a really difficult platform to revive. Like if you had an Instagram account 5 years ago and you've not posted since then, and you try and post now, you'll notice that you probably don't get good reach, or at least what you were used to before. But that's for two reasons. One reason is the last time you posted, the algorithm was different, which means maybe your expectations for your reach are too high now anyway, because you used to get more reach back in the day. but it also means that what people want and what the algorithm wants has probably changed as well. But regardless of the reasons for it, people often get quite discouraged because they will start to post and feel like their account is dead and there's no way of bringing it back to life or like reviving it. So then people will ask me, should I just start a brand new page from scratch? And to that question, I always have the same answer, which is that both options are hard. You have to choose your hard. You know that phrase when people are like choose your hard? That's basically what I'm saying. You have to figure out which option you are most likely to stick with, because reviving an account is really difficult, but starting one from scratch, I think people look at it as like maybe they'll start from scratch and hit the algorithm and get really lucky. And do you know what? Maybe you will, but there's a big chance that you won't. And it will actually be just as hard to bring you back to life, you know? So keep that in mind and just, yeah, pick your hard. Okay, let me find another one. This is actually such a great way to get questions, just going through my DMs. Ah, that's just a nice DM. Okay, someone asked me, which platform should I be focusing on next year? Okay, I talk about this in the video that goes live tomorrow as well, like in a lot of detail, like which platforms will thrive. But I do feel like there is a general rule to go by here. The first rule when you're trying to pick which platform to focus on, like which social media platform, is you have to, it doesn't even just have to be social media like you're in traditional forms. I'm also including like Substack and platforms like that. You have to consider which platform you naturally prefer creating content on. So think about the formats that thrive on that platform. So for example, if it's Substack, then obviously it's a lot of writing. Substack do have video capabilities now, like you can have a private podcast on Substack, which is amazing. But it is predominantly like writing and video capabilities. So if that's the case, then you need to make sure you love to write and therefore that's the platform you're going to focus on. If you're someone who wants to share photos as well as videos, then maybe you want to be on Instagram. If you're someone who wants to do long form content, then you probably want to be on YouTube. If you're someone who only wants to do short form verticals, then you might want to explore TikTok, right? Go with the type of content that you genuinely lend yourself to first. Let that guide you, and then pick a platform off the back of that. Because if you pick a platform because you think it's the one that's going to get you the most growth in the shortest amount of time, and not because you actually enjoy creating on it, it's not going to work anyway because you're going to give up. So what's the point if it can help you grow quickly if you're not going to stick with it, right? Because no one wants to stick creating content that they don't actually love. So that's the general rule. In terms of broadly, like what platform's going to thrive next year, Substack will continue to grow, but it's only going to work for people who genuinely love to create on Substack. I think Instagram's going to remain fairly difficult to grow on. Potentially a little bit easier to grow if you're slightly smaller on Instagram, because that's the changes they're making to the algorithm. But I wouldn't expect anything substantial in terms of changes from that standpoint. I think YouTube is going to be a great opportunity for growth, because I do think there are a few holes on YouTube at the minute in terms of creator content that could be produced that's not really being created right now. And I do also think there's always a shortage of creators on YouTube, funnily enough. People always like to say that it's oversaturated, but I disagree. I think people are always looking for new creators to follow and love. And TikTok will still be a great growth platform for you, but it's not going to be the same as it was in 2022, and that's not going to change. So hopefully that helps. Okay, let's go back into my DMs. Oh, okay. What will be the best way to grow on Instagram? It's another Instagram one. Next year. Right. There's a few things to talk about here. And again, this is going to be my video tomorrow, but I'm just going to share it with you guys now. One of the best ways to grow on Instagram and on social media in general next year is going to be to create a repeatable format. So this is basically the new version of consistency. You know how people would always say like, oh, to grow on online, you have to be consistent. And it's like, we know, we get it. This is, I think, like the new version of that. I think to grow on social media, you need to create a format that you can repeat. And then by repeating that format, you're actually going to allow people to get to know you, join your community, and build your content into their routine. I'll give you some examples. It would be like me doing an Ask Me Anything every Wednesday. It would be me doing like a series that's called Walk and Talk, and I'm just walking and talking about different things to do with my niche. It would be a signature series that I've spoken about on my channel before. Like, it would be that kind of stuff, right? Um, the reason why it works is because you're creating something that is recognizable, it's familiar. Where we live in a world, without getting too deep, we live in a world that's very unpredictable at the moment. So people are craving some level of predictability whilst it's still being valuable content in some way. So by creating something that's predictable but also valuable in its own way, like a series or like something you do every single week, and then sticking to that posting schedule, so you do it every single week at a certain time, allows your audience to expect something from you, and also it allows them to build your activity into their week. So if you think of it this way, think about your favorite creator in the world, and imagine if they did like a coffee chat catch up on Instagram Live, or streaming using Riverside's live features. There is a link to Riverside in my description, by the way, and you can get 15% off if you use my code JBeaton. So let's say they do like a Friday coffee catch up every Friday, you would assume, and they built that into their content strategy, and you already loved their content, right? But now you know that you can see them go live every single Friday on their YouTube channel when they stream through Riverside or whatever, because you can actually stream across multiple channels when you do it through Riverside. The fact that they've created something that you can now build into their schedule. So every Friday you get towards 5 p.m. and you're like, this is exciting because I know that we've got this live catching up. Or you join the live and you think, oh, I wonder what happened with that meeting she had on Monday that she said she was going to have during the last live. Suddenly you're creating a community and environment for your audience to regularly check in with you, and it's that predictability that's going to thrive, I think, next year on social media. What was the original question? How to grow on Instagram next year. I think that's going to be a really, really, really big part of it. Also, in terms of growing on Instagram at the moment, because I've had my ups and downs with that platform, and this year is the first year where I've been like, I actually feel like I'm putting in a lot of effort and I'm seeing the return. The biggest thing that changed for me, because you could argue that last year or the start of this year, my channel was dead. Like, I really wasn't putting much effort into it, and the algorithm therefore was not giving me much effort back. I had to do something quite drastic in order to like shake it up and actually get it to start working again. And the way in which I did that is, the way I put it was like, I had to shock the algorithm by creating something so good that it's like, you have to post this out to more people. When you sit down to create a piece of content and you're like, I'm going to put everything into this, my all. I'm going to be as creative as I possibly can be. I'm going to push myself out of my comfort zone. I'm going to put in maximum effort. It's probably going to take me an hour and a half to film one reel, because that's how long it was taking me when I first started my new style. But I'm going to put all the effort that I can into this. I'm going to do a bunch of it at once so that I can be consistent with this specific style of content that's super high effort, and just see what happens. And it worked. And I genuinely believe that would work for anyone else. I really do. It's like, you have to create something that the algorithm simply cannot ignore. But it's still possible to do that and give it a bit of a shake so it starts to recognize you. The only thing then, and someone did flag this to me when I told them this quite recently, they were like, doesn't that mean that you then have to continue creating that level of content? It kind of does. Because whenever I try to do easier content now, it doesn't quite land. It does. Like, you're training the algorithm to expect that from you, and you're also training your audience to expect that from you. So take that advice with a pinch of salt. But in my opinion, if you really, really want like to kickstart your Instagram again, it's worth the effort. It's also fun. Like, it's fun to switch up the way in which you're filming and be creative with the way in which you're doing things. Like, it's fun, even though it might feel really, really hard at first. I promise you, it's worth it. All right, let me go in my DMs, find another question. Maybe not an Instagram one this time. Oh, I just realized someone just DM'd me to say my comments were disabled. I'm so sorry, guys. I did think you were all being super quiet, but I was just like, it's fine. I'm like, they're obviously just tired like I am. I was just loving the opportunity just to take it easy. Let me see about my comments. Claire is the one who just messaged me. Thanks, Claire. Claire also just DM'd me a question. So if you are having issues as well, let me see if I can turn it off, then you are more than welcome to send me a DM. Right, give me 2 minutes to turn this off and then I'll answer Claire's question. I'm balancing all of this on I'm balancing like 5 things on this tiny little side table, and it is rocking. At any second it's gonna fall over. Weird. It's just saying that my channel's disabled them, but I haven't. Yeah, weird, because it's set up in my Riverside, which means it's a YouTube problem. All right, guys, you might just have to DM me because I've only got 10 minutes left anyway, but I will do another live, I promise. These are regular. All right, Claire says, do you have any advice for someone who is starting a brand new Instagram that is documenting a journey rather than straightforward educating? And then the context, I'm currently changing niches to become a human design reader and thinking about building my account through documenting how human design has changed my life. Yeah, okay, that's a really good question. So Claire's previous content was quite educational for context. So it was a lot of that was like the educational value. So I think the first thing you want to do, Claire, is identify what the value of this new content is going to be, because you're documenting the journey, which does do really well on Instagram nowadays. I'm assuming it's going to be like a relatability value, or maybe it's an inspirational value, but get clear on what that is before you start kind of scripting and creating. The next thing I'd recommend you do is create a series. I know I spoke about this earlier, but a signature series is a great vehicle for documenting a journey because it ties everything together and puts like a lovely neat bow on it. So like you might have seen someone do something similar before, where they'd be like, this is my 30-day plan to changing my life, and then it's like day 1 is 1 episode, day 2 is another episode, something like that, which gives it structure. I mentioned earlier in the live that the way to grow on Instagram and social media next year will be like creating predictable content. A signature series is a form of this, so I really recommend going down that loophole. And a bonus tip for me, I think this might be in my signature series video, is when you're creating a signature series, think about the way that you start it. So what you always want to do is start with a hook, of course, you guys know that by now, but then the next line that you say should be you providing context and introducing the series, and then you go on to the rest of it. So the best signature series, start with something like, let me think of an example. Like, I've got a content to cash series. So in one of those, I might start it by saying something like, you're not going to be able to make money on social media if your content's crap, but don't worry, I can help you. I'm Jade Beeson and I blah, blah, blah context. And this is my series, Content to Cash, episode 4. And like, if you go through my series, then you'll see that now. Even my trend report, I'll say something like, something crazy is happening on Instagram. These trends are blowing up. I'm Jade Beeson and this is your trend report, right? So you don't start by saying what the signature series is called. You start with the hook, but then you always say what it's called afterwards, because that is what gives it the consistency and the predictability. Hope that helps. I feel like I went on a tangent there. Okay. I'm just going to give you a like so that hopefully you'll see this. I'm also going to... Hello, I can't comment on your YouTube live. No, yeah, someone said comments closed intentionally. No, they're not. I don't actually know why they're closed, because it's set up correctly in my YouTube, can't speak, Riverside. I actually think it's a YouTube problem and I don't know why. Should I try again? As in, like, they've been disabled at my account level, which is so strange because I would never do that. Like, I would never disable comments. Let's see if I can deep dive this a bit, and if I can fix it, I'll stay on a bit longer, even though I promised myself I wouldn't. But you guys know what I'm like, I always do that. Oh, that's why, because it said it's made for kids and it's not made for kids. Why is it saying it's made for kids? No, it's not made for kids. Is this going to work if I save this? Let's see if this will work. Okay. Let me refresh this and see if it's worked. Yeah, I think that's worked, guys. Basically, it had saved my live chat. This is a lesson for everyone, as if it was a kids live. So whenever you do like kids content, it will disable the comments. So if when you upload a video, yeah, there you go. Sorry, guys. Well, if you wanted to ask a question, feel free to ask it now. I will stay on the live for longer. I said I was going to go at 1:30, but I will stay longer in case you did want to ask a question. Yeah, so when you upload a video on YouTube, there is a setting which says made for kids. And if you select it, it will disable comments under your content because obviously if your content's for kids, then they want to be able to have more control over what's being said. So that's why, because I must have accidentally said it was made for kids. My bad. Okay, which artist do you like better? Olivia Dean or Cleo Sol? Olivia Dean. I saw her live at a YouTube event actually a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was like a month ago, and she was amazing, beautiful voice. But I love that question. Also, send me just like casual questions as well, guys. It's the end of the day for me. Don't work me too hard. I have a question on Premiere on YouTube. Is it worth it? Oh, what a good question, because I've had Premiere Premium before. I'm guessing that's what you mean is YouTube Premium before. And I don't have it right now. YouTube Premium is a subscription for anyone who doesn't know, where you pay, I think it's like £8 a month or something. And it means you can access content without the ads. And it also means you can do things like minimize the YouTube videos when you're on your phone and do other things. I would say the thing that I miss the most is the fact that I could minimize videos and do other things on my phone. Like I do miss that, especially when I'm watching a podcast. Oh gosh, there's so many comments now. I knew there would be more comments. I was thinking how weird that you guys are so quiet, but I just genuinely thought, you know what? It's a small live. Um, Maybe people are just being quiet today. Anyway, um, that's what I miss the most. I don't mind ads. And maybe that's just me being like a creator who's used to adding ads to my content. Like I just don't mind them. So it doesn't bother me too much. It really is just a question on preference. Like if it's in your budget and the ads annoy you, go for it, you know? Okay. Next question. I'll try and go quickly through them. No problem, Claire. Thanks for DMing me, everyone who said that you couldn't comment and being patient with me as I yabber on for 20 minutes for answering your questions. But I was asking questions you DM'd me, so hopefully there were questions that you guys wanted answered anyway. Have you ever had a question you couldn't answer on a live? I was thinking of doing lives on IG for people to ask for dog training tips and questions. Okay, I would join that because my dog's a nuisance, although she is being very well behaved right now. No, I don't think I ever have had a question that I couldn't answer on a live, if I'm being honest. Um, I think that's probably because one, people are very respectful in my lives, and I love you guys for that. But then also, if they're asking a question about kind of social media and stuff like that, I've been doing this for a while, so usually there's an answer I can give. But don't let that hold you back. Like if you can't answer a question on live, be like, hey, I actually can't answer that right now. Like send me a DM and I'll get back to you. And then it's a way to follow on the conversation. Like don't let that put you off, you know? You're only human. You're not an encyclopedia. I haven't said that word in a while, so don't stress. Um, I'm a somatic therapist. Do you have advice for creating content with value that isn't the same input as a full-time creator? Do you mean isn't the same input as in like the volume of content you're sharing? I think first thing I'd say, be careful comparing yourself to a full-time creator. I'm not saying you're doing that, but just in case you do that, because rightly you kind of identified already their input or their output is going to be different to someone else's. If you don't have a huge amount of time on your hands, then what I recommend you do is you focus on one channel first and then you repurpose that content across others. You just need focus more than anything else if you don't have much time. So really dedicate yourself to learning one platform inside and out and focusing your energy on that. I hope that helps, but let me know if it doesn't. What are your big professional plans for 2026? Oh God, where do we begin? 2026 is going to be a wild year. I'm already grateful for it because I already know it's going to be ridiculous. I have just launched my social media marketing agency. It's called Social People. We are only like 4 or 5 months old, but we already have 5 clients and we're doing quite well, if I do say so myself. I've got big plans next year to grow that. Big plans. We're having a lot of conversations with some very exciting brands and companies, and I just think it's going to be a huge year for social people next year. I really do. That's one of my biggest goals. I'm also working on a not-for-profit company with someone who I met at an event where I can't tell you too much because it's not launched yet, but that's really exciting, and that'll be launching next year as well. And then, oh, I have something else that I'm working on for you guys specifically. It's a new program that I haven't done a new program in a while, but this is a very unique style program that I've not done before and I haven't seen anyone else do before. So I'm also going to try and do that. But as you can tell, that's quite a few things. So let's just see. I'm doing my best, and I've got a great team around me now. So I reckon I'll be able to get it all done, but it's a lot. I'm really stretching like myself quite a bit at the moment, and I very much plan to continue doing that next year because I just think there are some great things on the horizon for all of us, especially. The creator economy is just absolutely booming, guys. It's a great time to be a business owner or a content creator for the most part. We've got a question here. Do you ever set your videos, as premieres? Was that what you meant? My bad. I thought you meant like YouTube Premium. No, I don't. So this is when, again, for anyone else, context, sometimes, or not sometimes, what people might do when they share a video on YouTube is they schedule it as a premiere, which means it will show up on your profile, and you can like set a reminder for when it goes live, but it will just appear as a thumbnail, and then you'll schedule it to go live at a certain time and date, and then when it goes live, people will get notifications and they can watch it. I think it's a great strategy if you're doing something very unique where it's like, it's an actual film premiere, it's like a big piece of work that you've worked on, you're launching a new series and it's episode 1. 100%, that sounds like a great idea. Do you need to do it for every single episode? Probably not, but to build anticipation as part of a launch, I think it's a great strategy. For your regular BAU, so that's what BAU stands for, business as usual content, so that's just like what you do on a weekly basis, I rarely see a need for it, to be honest. Never say never. I would probably do it again if I was launching something new, like a new series or something. But yeah, otherwise I wouldn't use it. I'm smiling to myself because, guys, I have like so much to say about a series that some of you guys will know this. I was working on a new series a year ago. Guys, I filmed this series, 4 episodes, featuring talent. So people took time out of their day, traveled across the UK, filmed 4 episodes of a series. And the guy who filmed it for me in his company never gave me the footage. And I've never properly spoken about it. And I'm thinking maybe I'll talk about it in my next vlog. Not the one that you'll see next, because I've already filmed that one. The one after that, maybe like my early Jan goals one. But yeah, I spent this whole year chasing for that footage. And he would consistently tell me that it was coming and it was ready. And he never gave it to me. I'm like still not over it. I just don't. And I didn't pay for the whole thing, but I paid like a good few grand. It's a story for another day. So let me know if you want me to talk about that in more detail. Hi, Jade. I'm Caroline. Hi, Caroline. I'm over 50 and started a crafting channel on YouTube years ago. I see everyone's growing. Sorry, I just lost your comment. Where have you gone? I see everyone's growing, but I see everyone growing but me. How do I determine what I'm doing wrong? I feel like I've tried everything. Your biggest thing, Caroline, is going to be your mindset. And I can tell it straight away from that comment. And I say this with so much love because it's got to be the first thing you look at. Everyone's growing but you. What? Of course they're not. Of course they're not. The trouble is you will see people growing either because they're in your life or because they're growing. So by definition of their content being shown to more people, it means you're seeing it. It's like when someone says, I wanted to do this viral challenge on TikTok and I was the only one who didn't go viral with it. No, thousands of people didn't go viral with it. You just didn't see it because they didn't go viral. Do you see what I'm getting at? You're not the only person who's not growing. There are so many people out there who's at the exact same stage as your journey as you. It is literally all part of the process. I was there at some point as well. So try not to make it feel like it's a personal thing and it's only you. That's not the case. Also, you feel like you've tried everything, and I have no doubt that you have tried so many things. There could be a few things going at play here. It could be that you've tried certain things and not quite been able to nail that tactic yet. It could be that you've switched up the different things that you're trying too frequently. So with every video, you're doing something new and you haven't given yourself enough time to test it and really see what's going wrong. Obviously, it's impossible for me to know what the situation is without me doing like a deep dive of your channel, which we can't do on these calls. But what I would encourage you to do is to spend some time coming up with 3 or 4 main things you want to focus on to improve your content moving forward, for absolute max, and just focus on that for the next 3 to 6 months and just see if you can start to see real incremental growth, because that's what we're looking for. Not trying to go viral super quick, incremental growth. And also just remind yourself why you're doing it. Like, you're doing it because you love it, right? So you've got to lean into that. Do you know how many times I had to tell myself today, this week, this last 2 months, to be honest, I have to correct myself, because every time I have to, again, I almost just did it. Every time I might need to do a filming session or go speak at an event, or I've got like 1,000 calls in a day, I have to tell myself, like, I get to do these things rather than I have to do these things. You don't have to have your YouTube channel, you get to have it. Try and find the love of it again. You probably hate me for that whole monologue, but I really, really think it's going to help you. But I sympathize and I understand. Thing is with your journey is that it goes like this. So there will come a time where you'll grow and then it will plateau and you'll feel the same. Unfortunately, it's just part of the journey. Okay, and then we've got one more thing. What hair products do you use? Your hair is gorgeous. Thank you. I'm trying to think. It's just I just use my husband's Cantu, but I'm not going to say that Cantu is the best. It's just the ones that he uses, and he's got so much of it, so I just use his. Great idea, got you. You're always welcome to ask me anything dog related. Ah, that's very sweet. I'm going to take you up on that. Time, input, and volume. Okay, great. I think I answered that one. So nice to see you on a live. When did you get your first brand partnership, and how many subscribers did you have? Fantastic question. I wish I could give you the exact number of subscribers. If I'm being honest, I don't fully remember the exact number, but it was around maybe 1,000, between 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers. It was a small amount. And I got a 3 video brand partnership deal, and I charged like £1,000 for it. I think it was 2,000 subscribers maybe, which is like a decent rate, I think. And I managed to get that because I negotiated a 3 video deal, and because I really focused on the credibility that I had rather than the audience size that I had. So I really, when I was pitching, I was like, I've got 8 years experience in marketing, I blah, 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 blah. And because I was saying all that, that's what I think helped me kind of land it. So I hope that helps. I was also very audacious and delulu. And those are 2 things you need when you're starting your journey. Okay, and then we've got, I'm starting a new YouTube long form. Congratulations. Can you give advice for starting out and launching well? Okay, few things. If you are like me, which you might be, then you need to have a couple videos in the bank, because it's going to get overwhelming pretty quick. Try and start with like 2 videos minimum, maybe 3, so that when you start the process, you don't already feel like you're chasing your tail. Next thing I'd say is, if you're not completely sure exactly what you want to talk about a few things and listen to what your audience say and go with what the data says. The third thing I would say is that you need a commitment goal. I talk about this quite a lot. You need to know right now how long you are going to create YouTube content for and how much you're going to create. So like what the cadence is going to be. You need to figure that out now and commit to it. So mine at the time, this was 5 years ago, was that I was going to do 2 long form videos a week for 1 year. And I wasn't allowed to quit my YouTube channel until I reached that point. Fortunately for me, my channel started to grow after like 4-ish months. However, that was mostly because it was COVID and people had more time on their hands and people were watching YouTube more. If I set a commitment goal for myself now, I'd probably say at least 2 years, at least. So you need that, because it's what's going to get you through the moments where you feel like you're just speaking to no one and like no one's watching your videos and stuff, because that is part of the journey. That time will happen, unless you're like Emma Chamberlain or something and you blow up straight away. So because of that period of time, your biggest risk of not reaching your goal is that you're going to quit. So you need to create some kind of parameters, but that's going to stop you from quitting, basically. Oh, I think I've gotten to the end. Oh no, almost. I'm gonna keep this going for another 5 minutes, I think, guys. But I will be doing another live again. I know, footage theft. Can you believe it? Didn't give you my content. I still can't believe it. Oh, so upsetting. Anyway, trying something new and not giving myself the time to test it makes so much sense. I think I'm a little chaotic with that. Thank you. No problem. I'm proud of you for doing this in the first place. What you're doing is not easy. Oh, Mojo's awake. What you're doing is not easy. So cut yourself some slack. Should we have a Mojo break? Hi, Mo. She was a bit tired. She was asleep. Hi, Jade Beeson. So I want to start social media marketing agency. Welcome to the club next year. And I want to use LinkedIn to promote my business and services. Great idea. Do you mind sharing what type of content to post there? There's no one answer to this because it is going to be specific to you, your journey. Why don't just go on my LinkedIn? This isn't a plug, but go on my LinkedIn and have a look at what we post over there. I say we because it's a team, it's not just me. Post over there to give you some experience, some examples. We do a lot of like founder stories, a lot of behind the scenes content because that works really well for us, and then some educational content specifically on the agency's channel. So hopefully that will give you some inspiration. But congratulations in advance. I'm very happy for you, and I wish you all the luck in the world. What is your favorite? Hi, honey. What was your favorite part of Creator Fest? Oh, I just realised who you are. But Creator Fest this year, so great seeing you there. Popcorn Yellow Stripe. Yeah, yeah. Hi, love. I hope you're well. What was my favorite part? I can't say my talk, can I? Because that's just a bit conceited. But it was my talk. I really liked my talk at Creator Fest this year. I did a keynote. It was in the morning. It was the first session, which is sometimes the hard session because people are late, people are tired. Also, the weather. I got there and I was like, my hair was like this because the weather was insane. But everyone was there, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and I feel like I had a really captive audience. And I even just really liked my slides that day. I actually got someone to design my slides, and I never really do that, but I really liked how they turned out. So yeah, I'm going to be conceited and just say my session was my favorite part. Queen of the live chat, be more Delulu, 100%. Have you ever reached out to a brand for have you ever reached out to a brand for a brand deal? Yeah, that was how I got my first like 20 to 50 deals. That was literally all I did. I would pitch. So I'm such a champion for pitching. I don't like to wait for things to happen. You probably sense this from me anyway. I feel like I give off that energy. Yeah, I'm not the most patient person. I don't like to wait for deals to magically appear. I'm very fortunate now in that when you've been doing it for a while, you don't have to pitch as much, but I also have management, so they pitch for me as well, which again is a huge privilege. But in the beginning, it was just me running up my sleeves. Sometimes Jamie used to help me, my husband. There was a period of time where he had his own like email address under my domain and he would pitch for me. But yeah, that's how I got my first bulk of partnerships. Have you ever, yeah. What do you think about the current landscape of YouTube with big media companies joining and celebrities joining? Is this affecting current content creators, and how will this affect new creators? What a great question. Yes, it is affecting current content creators and new creators, but I think it's doing it in a positive way mostly. YouTube and social media is going through a seismic shift at the minute, and I have mentioned a few times that my 2026 trend video is going to go live tomorrow, so watch that when it does. Also, just leave a comment so that I know that you were on the live. Maybe put like the black love heart that I love to use all the time. Anyway, it's going to impact it in a couple of ways. One way is that it's going to bring more people over to YouTube to watch YouTube who previously wouldn't have done so. So we all know what happens when a celebrity goes on YouTube and you're like, oh my God, wait, I get more content from them, from this platform that I've never really watched content on. They start watching the celebrity, other content gets suggested on the right hand side on the suggested posts section, and then they start watching someone else, and before they know it, they're a YouTube lover. So what I think will happen is there'll be a new influx of people consuming content on YouTube, which will be incredible for us. Let me make sure I'm answering your full question. When it comes to big media companies joining, I think this is an interesting one because, for example, production companies, broadcast company. Like a lot of people are turning to YouTube and using it as part of their core content strategy, rather than just using it as a place to dump episodes that they no longer share on TV anymore. So because of that, there's a huge rise in interest from creator consultants. I've had so many inquiries this year from people asking me to help them with stuff like that. And it also means that the quality of content that people are consuming on YouTube is going up, because now it's becoming more commonplace for people to go home, turn on their TV and watch like an actual episode of a show, like a full production set, you know? So the more commonplace that becomes, the higher their expectation of good production value, that will be reflected on creators like yourself and me, right? So people, I think I said this earlier back when I was just talking to myself because the chat was off. What will happen is people will start to consume your content more and more on the big screen, which means they're going to expect storytelling, a narrative, decent audio, you know, a camera lens that's been wiped. They're going to start to expect those things. So yeah, I think that's what's going to be reflected as well. Two ways that it's going to impact it the most. Where are we at? I had a YouTube channel last uploaded 3 years ago. My audience small, about 11k, but well engaged, and I was getting a lot of brand deals. What's the best way to return? Part of me thinks it's too late. Just return, babe. Just return. You're overthinking it. Oh, my earphones are ringing. You're overthinking it. You don't know what challenges you're going to face as a result of not being active until you are active. You need to start posting and sharing, and then give it like 6 months, and then review the data and see what needs to be done. See if you're getting any views on your recent content, and if you're not, then diagnose why. Treat it like you would if you've been posting up until this point and you want to try something new and see how it lands. Like you've got to just start posting to get past that initial block, and so that you have some good data to really use. What's the time? I said I was going to come off now, so I'm going to answer the rest of the questions in the chat and then I'll pop off because your girl's tired. Where are we at? I love that. So I just dropped the emoji in the meantime. Hey guys, would you ever get into channel reviews? What do you mean? Do you mean just like doing audits of people's channels? Because I do that inside the collective, which is my membership already. So that'll probably be the first time I do it. First time seeing me live. Yeah, I want to go live once a quarter on here. That's the plan. So keep an eye out because I'm going to do it more. Hi guys. Hi everyone. My YouTube highlights nominated you as my most listened to podcast. I don't skip your videos. Oh, I appreciate you so much. I really, really do. Like more than you know. Especially when I feel like I am just going through a transition period with my YouTube at the minute. I've got really fun stuff planned for next year, actually. I have like a whole video on what my strategy is for next year, in case you want to watch it. Plug. But it is reassuring to hear that, especially when my plan for my channel looked quite different. Like what I planned for my channel this year didn't quite happen, again, because I had that content series that guy never sent me. So because of that threw me quite a bit. I do feel like I've had a bit of an identity crisis with my channel recently. Apparently I missed someone's question. Can you just repost it? I'm just trying to do my best to scroll through everything. But if I've missed it, then you're welcome to repost it and I can try and answer. But yeah, I feel like I've been going through a bit of a identity crisis with my channel. So it always means a lot when you guys leave such lovely comments. I'm going to wait for this question to be reposted so I can answer it. And then I'm probably going to wrap up, guys. Here we go. Oh, that wasn't the question from the same person, but it's okay. I'm just going to answer more. I'm such a pushover. All right, a new deadline. I am coming off this call at 6 p.m. So you've got 12 more minutes, 6 p.m. GMT. And I will put the recording for this up for a little while as well. Not for long though, so try and watch it within the next couple of days. Okay, so I'm going to stay until 6. I tried using TubeBuddy, but I didn't see it being helpful as it couldn't tell what my video is about. Am I supposed to use it to develop videos or after I recorded? I used to use it after I recorded because it was easy to find great keywords, but it's a lot harder for my niche for example, right now. So I would use it before now to see what people are searching for. I hope that helps. I love your content. You're motivated. For me, oh, good. I'm proud of you for posting. That's the biggest step, guys, is just starting, honestly. That is the biggest step. Okay, I can't find this person's message that apparently I missed. So I'm going to scroll up and see if I can find it. Oh, vidIQ, but it's probably the same. Yeah, they're really similar. I know vidIQ have some really good AI tools as well, but they're very similar. So yeah, same answer. Right, okay, let me see if I can find this person's original comment. Oh, it's just hard because then like every time, oh, okay, you reposted it, thank you. Because every time I try and scroll, if a new comment comes through, I miss it again. I have a question. Do you think I should start trying to be an influencer on TikTok? I'm on Instagram with 40,000 followers and I have a YouTube channel. I'm posting consistently with, should I try TikTok now? Why? I guess my main question there is like, why do you want to be on TikTok? Is it just because you want to diversify? Is it because you love the channel? I think figure out the reasons why before you do anything, just a general rule. Um, if you are just going on TikTok because you're like, great opportunity to see if my content lands there, but you're not necessarily passionate about it as a platform, then I would just start by repurposing your Instagram content on TikTok because it doesn't require too much input from you. You can still focus on the platform that you naturally gravitate to. However, if you're like, no, I love TikTok, I spend a lot of time on TikTok, I want to really grow there, then I would repurpose your Instagram content, yes, but also start with like a specific TikTok strategy as well to really focus on that platform. If you're thinking, if the question is more about like, is this the right thing to do? Oh, sorry guys, my Osmo Pocket just died. But I'm still here. Let me just check you can still hear me. Yeah, you can still hear me. Fine. So now we're on my laptop. If you're wondering why it looks a bit different, this is my laptop charger, my laptop camera. Um, so let me go back to your question. If the question is like, is it the right thing to do because of the extra effort, then it's about thinking about your current workload. There's a couple of things I'd say here. One is you have to feel like your existing channels are working well organically and growing, even if it's only by like one subscriber a month or something. They're growing organically, you're in a good workflow with it, and it doesn't feel hard anymore. When you reach that session or that state, that's when you want to start looking at another platform to really put your all into. And the other thing I would consider is, do you actually have the time? And be honest with yourself, because what we often do is we tell ourselves, okay, we're going to start doing this new thing now. But if you did an audit of all of your time, you would clearly see that you don't have time for anything new. So if that's the case and you still want to do it, make sure you're actually looking at what you've got on your plate and you're removing something to allow time to work on this. Don't just think you're going to come up with time like magically, it's not going to happen. Make sure you carve that out. I hope this helps. From Tanzania, hi. If you were to start over from scratch today, would you do anything differently? Oh my God, so much. So much I would do differently, guys. The landscape is so different. I mean, I would use AI tools, first of all, to edit my content so much better than how I did in the early days. There was no AI when I started. Guys, there were no short form vertical videos when I started my journey. Shorts didn't exist, Reels didn't exist, TikTok wasn't a big platform yet. It makes me feel old. That was only 5 years ago. In short, yes, I would do. You know what the biggest thing I would do, and this is tangible for everyone else, is I would jump headfirst into anything new. I really dragged my feet with short form video content. I really didn't like it. Guys, I only started to like it this year. I only just started to find my flow and my vibe and my style with it this year. It's 2025. It's ridiculous how long it took me. And it was all because I just, I was just resistant to change. And I was like, I'm just going to stick with my photos and my long form. And I dragged my feet with it for too long. And it took me too long to really figure out my style with it. So I don't want to say I regret that because no regrets, but it's one of the biggest things I'd do differently. I have a large online presence, congratulations, and my Instagram feels a little dry right now. I really want to get paid too. So I'm guessing this is in response to what's your why to go into TikTok. Um, yeah, I mean, if you're looking the paid thing, you can get paid on TikTok. If you're in America, then you'll get paid quite well. But you can also get paid in the UK. You'll earn more from a brand partnership though, because you mentioned you've got a large online presence. Like you'll earn more through brand partnerships than you would through the TikTok Creator Fund for them usually. Um, so if it's just the money thing, that might be something else to explore if you're not already. What brought me back to your channel was the I'm struggling video. Yeah, a few people have said that. YouTube suggested it and it was very relatable. I think people want to see the more raw realities. Oh, I lost your comment. More behind yeah, more behind the business, more vlogs. I hear you guys. I've got a vlog going live next week, and I'm gonna do at least one a month. Bear with me. Like I actually do quite enjoy vlogging, but it adds like an hour or so worth of work to my day, just like spread out throughout the day. And as you would have told from the video where I'm saying I'm struggling, like I'm very time poor at the moment. So it's not always the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to do at least one a month, but I'll try and do more. It's so funny because things have just changed so much online, and this is why you always have to like keep a dialogue with your audience, and why I'm so grateful for you guys being so open and honest with me. Because if this was a couple of years ago and I was uploading vlogs, people would be angry in the comment section. Like people used to get mad at me when I uploaded a vlog because they'd be like, we don't want to know about your life. Just teach us stuff. Like it was such a different landscape. So things are really changing, and I am committed to adapting. I have a YouTube channel as a solo travel creator, but I want to start talking about freelancing in my channel. How do you make sure you have fresh? Sorry, let me reread that because I wasn't being switched on enough for you. I have a YouTube channel as a solo travel creator. Okay, but I want to start talking about freelancing in my channel. Got it. How do you make sure you have fresh evergreen ideas? Huh. Okay. So that wasn't the direction I thought you were going to take the question. I thought you were going to ask me like, how do you talk about both? But in terms of the fresh evergreen ideas, a couple things. Pay attention to what your audience are saying. If they're not saying much in your content because you're just starting out, look at similar creators' content and see what they're saying under their content, right? You just got to be tuned in to what people are saying, regardless of whether they're saying it to you or to someone else. Use things like Google Trends, use YouTube's trending topics tab, use the Creator Studio in TikTok, use these different tools to keep your finger on the pulse and see what's working. Third biggest, most important tip, you have to consume to create. This is something I've been saying a lot recently. It comes with so many caveats, so it's hard to say really quickly because you need to consume content in order to create content. And by that, I mean you need to be watching content regularly that is somewhat related to the audience you're trying to target, because that is what's going to give you ideas. And I don't mean you're going to watch someone's content and be like, oh, I'm going to do that. I don't mean that at all. I mean, you will watch content and you'll think, huh, I have a different way of approaching that maybe I can do. Or like, huh, I've got a story that was completely different to theirs that I should share. Like that is where you're going to get it. But the biggest caveat with that is do it in a healthy way because no one wants to be scrolling their life away. I love vlogging, but it's the hardest way to grow. I don't want to always have to prep to film with scripting and talking heads. How to grow vlog channel, oh, hard. It's really hard, I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard because you are convincing people who don't know you to care about your day. And that is a really difficult thing to do. So if you want to grow a vlogging channel, you have to make sure that there is some key narrative, some key outcome, some key thing you're teaching, something that ties that vlog together. It can't be spend a week with me unless you already have an audience. It can't be that. It needs to be, what did you say your niche was? Homesteading, daily life. It needs to be this thing ruined my garden. Have I got homesteading correctly? I think that's what we're talking about. This thing ruined my garden, or like how to actually get started, behind what it's really like to get started with whatever it is. You know, it has to be like tied in some kind of value. Even my vlog the other day, even though I have an audience there, it's wrapped in something. Like the whole theme of it was like I'm struggling, and that was the theme of the whole video, just watching me struggle through life. It has to be wrapped in something so that you can clearly package it in a way that if someone doesn't know you, they want to watch the video. That's the biggest thing. If it's just going to be like, come spend a Sunday with me, if they don't know you yet, they don't want to spend the Sunday with you. And I know that sounds so harsh, but it's true. So think about the packaging is basically what I'm trying to say. It is possible. It's tricky. I'm not going to lie to you. If it's not too much, can you provide a brief overview of your paid community and some success story wins from your client? What I will do is drop a link to the community so that you guys don't have to hear me do a big plug. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, I just dropped it twice by accident. Oh, 3 times by accident. Yeah, it's an online community for creators. It's got a ton of resources in there. It's got a Discord community and chat in there. And depending on the level that you join, you also get access to additional things like fortnightly calls and office hours with me as well. So have a look on there and drop me a DM if you have any additional questions. Hi Jade, do you believe that shorts can hurt YouTube channel growth, specifically decreasing the long form views? So I don't think that your shorts will decrease your long form views. By the way, I'm going to wrap up, guys. So the last question that's come through is going to be the last one. So I will answer all the other ones. Sorry, here we go. I don't think your shorts will decrease your long form views. So it's not like you're going to start posting shorts and then everyone stops watching your long. It's just that your shorts viewers may not translate to your long form videos or your long form viewers. So you might end up with an audience, 10,000 people, and 5,000 of those people predominantly watch your shorts and the other 5,000 predominantly watch your long form. That in my mind is still a healthy channel. Obviously, it would never be a clean split like this. Like we all know, view rates are pretty low. But that to me, you could still have a healthy channel that way. It's just about balancing where the focus is. I think it's always important to have an idea of what your core focus is, whether it's the formats, whether it's the channel that you're on, because that's the thing that should get all of your attention and your energy. So as long as you've got a clear idea of whether that's shorts or long form, I think you're fine to do both. PS, which is the best plan where we can discuss with you brand opportunities, current prices to charge, etc. You can actually do that on any of the plans because you'll get access to all of the lessons where I talk about pricing and stuff, and then you also get access to the Discord. The other plans, so like the Plus plan, is for people who want the pitch templates, who also want us to send you brand opportunities every week, because we do that every Monday as well. And then the Pro plan is for people who's like, this isn't enough. I need to jump on an office hour call with you. I need to show you my website. Like I need to show you my ebook. I need to show you my Instagram channel. I need you to tell me exactly what to do next. I need you to audit my channels so you can actually get audits when you're a Pro member. So that's kind of how we price it. I hope that helps. Yes, please. How do you talk about both freelancing and travel? I'm a freelancer and also travel solo, so I would love to share both contents in your channel. You got to figure out who your ideal audience is. I call them your SAM because I like to give things a name. You probably know that by now. Think about who your SAM is. Okay. Create a SAM who would be interested in both those things. Get to know that SAM. So at the top of my head, that SAM, from what you've just told me, is probably someone who's interested in like nomad life. So it's someone who wants to travel but also wants to work. But it's not enough to just, that might sound obvious, but if you don't define that, then you don't have that to guide you when it comes to how you talk and show up online. But you do have that, then you know the guide is like, okay, I show up to talk about nomad life and I show myself working in these beautiful destinations and talk about how I do that. Does that make sense? But I can see that really working for you. That's like a common like audience type. I'm a therapist who talks about ADHD. Sorry, I just need, guys, I did say I was going to stop answering questions, so I would still try to get to the bottom of these, but then I am going to dial off. But I will do another live at some point in like a few months. That sounds so far away, doesn't it? I'm so sorry. Okay, so just a couple more I was going to ask. I'm a therapist who talks about ADHD, but have been doing cooking lives on TikTok and posting clips here. It's still connected to ADHD, but I'm worried about people being confused. Change it on now. Let me think. If you talk about ADHD when you're doing your cooking lives and that's the way you tie it in, then it's fine. I would give you the same advice as the last person I gave that to, which is like, who's your ideal audience? Who's your SAM? If you feel like you can't marry those two things together in a person, that's when you're struggling. So it's like if I speak to someone who's like, I want to talk about finance, but I also want to talk about, what's the opposite of finance? Let me pick two different ones. I want to talk about plants, but I also want to talk about high fashion. They're obviously not opposite, but you see what I'm getting at. If someone tells me that and I'm like, okay, build a customer profile based on someone who's interested in both those things. If you think that is a really niche person and it's not commonplace, that's usually when you're probably going to struggle, right? You need them to be like a profile that you're like, yes, I know the exact kind of person who's going to be interested in both of those topics and I know how to show up for them. Oh, thanks for joining me, guys. And that was the direction I was going in, but wasn't sure. I think we're almost done. I'm just reading this last comment. Oh, I think there's one more question. Hold on. I wasn't sure. I like to make new recipes. Yeah, amazing. Hey, Jade. This is the final question, guys. And then I'm going to log off. What do you do if your long form videos are getting low views, but you have all the right settings and tags are being consistent in posting? So you may be focusing on the wrong element, not the wrong elements. Let me rephrase. You might need to refocus on what your elements are. So if you feel like you're doing the right thing with the settings and the tags and you're being consistent, you got to look at the content itself. So the settings and the tags and the consistency is just one piece of the puzzle. Unfortunately, the puzzle has multiple pieces. You need to also look at what you're talking about. Are you picking trending topics? Is the pacing of the video good so you're keeping people retained? Is the hook good? The next thing I want you to focus on is the content itself. Yeah? Cool. I finished. Thanks, guys. That was a lovely session. As I said, I'm going to do these once a quarter. They are very kindly sponsored by Riverside. That is the platform I'm using to stream on. That is how I've been able to use my mic and how I was earlier using my Osmo before it just switched off because it's dead. And also, when I'm done with this, the whole thing gets saved in Riverside Studio and I'm able to use that clip to cut it up, repurpose, turn it into a newsletter, literally just do whatever I want with it because there are so many features inside Riverside and I can use AI to do it. So it will literally take me 2 seconds. So there is a link to Riverside in the description of this live. And don't forget, you can use code Jade Beeson when you're upgrading your plan and you can get 15% off. Bye, everyone. Lovely talking with you.